This conference will now be recorded.
There you go.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. This is Mercedes Ross with Project Bike Tech, and we're so thrilled that you're here to join us for this webinar. And just can't wait to share what Project Bike Tech is and how far we've come and what's happening with our program. So without further ado, I'm going to go over what you can see on the left-hand side of my screen, which is the basics of this webinar. I'm going to go over who we are, and then the most important part about what is Project Bike Tech, because some people just don't know what Project Bike Tech is. I'm going to dive into experiential learning, which is a big theme in the education world, thank God. We're going to talk a little bit about what STEM is and how that affects us in our education system. Then I'm going to talk about how Project Bike Tech works and what the cogs are of that, and then why it's important to you as a retailer, how you can help, and then we'll close it up and answer some questions at the end. I'd love to keep the questions to the end because then we can keep the flow going. So without further ado, I'm going to start the slideshow, and we'll get going with a great video. Oh, our mission, of course we have our mission. Our mission, Project Bike Tech works to enhance lives, create opportunities, and build sustainable communities through bicycle education. And that's the premise behind what we are.
Project Bike Tech got started grassroots. Barry Michelle, the founder, has a bicycle shop. And one day when they were looking for mechanics, she said, why don't we have auto shop for bikes? And so she decided to go to the education department and see if they would like to start something like that. And so that's what that started out as.
We teach kids how to work on bikes and teach them some career building skills such as resume writing. We start off with flat fixing, hub overhauling, derailleur and brake adjustment, basic repair. The kids can then go into bike overhauls on their own. It's a really fun class for them to get more into cycling and exposes them to a lot of the career options in the bike industry.
The way I learn is I have to do it myself. I can't just be shown on a board or like watch a video on it. I have to have the person sitting with me and doing it as I'm doing it and actually showing me. So that's what I liked about the bike tech class. Everything was just right there. He would instruct us either right next to us or in front of the class. If we needed additional help, he would do it with us. So it just kind of made things a lot easier for me to learn because it was just hands-on, and that's exactly the way I learned. So it was perfect.
Over the years, we've had the opportunity to take internships through the Project Bike Tech program. And so we've had quite a few young people come through that have interned here and gone on to become paid employees and long-term employees. They come in with a base knowledge, and by the time they're a year to 2 years in, they're becoming from like an average bike assembler to moving into real bike mechanics. And we spend a fair amount of time doing extended education and training along with the industry to keep up.
Project Bike Tech connects to our community in many different ways. Every person out there in the community is a teacher, whether it be a police officer or the mother or father down the street. We're all creating examples, right? And so for us to look at Bike Tech as a great example, that's just an example for you guys to be more of a person to show these little kids that there is a direction that they can create. I have students that come into my class that have taken this course. They use the term life tech, right? And it's because I'm teaching them important skills of hands-on training, how to push themselves to go beyond what they think they can do. And bike tech provides that.
And that is our this year's student class in Summit County. I'm always going to interject with our classes. They're amazing. And as you can see from the video, we have an amazing program. The main part of our educational system is very much what the education world is thirsting for technical, experiential, and trade-based. And so that's what the education system is looking for, and we provide that. So who are we? Well, it all started with our wonderful founder, Barry Michelle. She has a bicycle shop in Santa Cruz called the Bicycle Trip, and just such an imaginative force behind all of this. She and her family have supported this program for the last 12 years. And her main question was, why isn't there auto shop for bikes? And so she went to the Board of Education in California, and she and her family have invested a lot in this program, and they've helped create and make Project Bike Tech happen. So we're very thankful for Barry. We are in 7 states, and we're super excited. We're Colorado, Minnesota, New Hampshire, Vermont, Oklahoma, Utah, and California. And we're growing leaps and bounds every day. As you can see, I'm not going to go over all these numbers, but we are starting to educate a lot of students across the country. We're a grassroots organization, and we need your help to keep growing. When we all started, we had 7 schools and about 270 students in the spring of 2018. We've expanded quickly. This past year, we'll have graduated 500 students with approximately 2,000 hours of instruction. So we are growing. We've increased our student population by 75% since 2017, and that's a lot of that's attributed to our amazing board of directors. We have 10 members of the board that are from all industries, including finance, investment banking, accounting, education, marketing, outdoor, and bicycle industry. So we have a very diverse board. We're super proud of them. That's me and Brian Fisher. We are Project Bike Tech, home base in Frisco, Colorado. And Brian's amazing. He comes to us with a vast nonprofit background. And I have been in the bicycle industry for 30 years. I'm what's called a veteran, although I don't admit to being that old. We also have amazing people in our staff that are consultants that come from all different parts of the world. Ton Kennedy is out in California. Ray Keener, an industry veteran. Channing Nuss is our strategist. And Brian Hawkins makes us look amazing. We also have a local advisory board in Boulder, Boulder being the hotbed of the bicycle industry. We have a lot of amazing humans that are helping us with all our decisions out here and nationwide, everything from educators to athletes to industry folks that are helping us with Project Bike Tech. So that is the team, and this is what Project Bike Tech is. So get out your notebooks, because this is a very intricate explanation of what this program is. If you want to have it develop in your backyard, you're going to need to know all these things about Project Bike Tech. It is the best part of a student's day in school, that's for sure. And Eric Hawkins from Park Tools expresses what exactly Project Bike Tech is.
Having the skills to be a bike mechanic doesn't limit you to be a bike mechanic. That's the start. My name is Eric Hawkins, and I am the president and owner of Park Tool Company. We're a manufacturer of bicycle tools and repair equipment. We manufacture about 500 different tools that we ship to about 75 different countries. I think the first step to getting into the bicycle industry as a whole is to learn how the bicycle works. And the industry in general has every type of job in it. from being a mechanic or sales. And then moving out of the shop and into the industry, there's engineering and accounting and marketing and so many things that the basis of bicycle understanding really is an advantage. The bicycle is a great combination of simplicity and complexity. Once you learn how something works, you take a bigger interest in it. You look for other ways to do things, and you acquire a work ethic. And a work ethic could be the most important thing moving on from high school on. You've got to be a good worker.
Park Tools is an amazing sponsor of ours, and he couldn't have said it more eloquently. So Project Bike Tech in a nutshell. We are a 2-year college credit curriculum for high school students. We are not an elective. We have a dedicated classroom. We have a proprietary curriculum supported by the industry, and we also supply tools and supplies, new bicycles. We have, most importantly, a one-of-a-kind industry-backed certificate. We have teacher training. We are supported by the bike industry and bike retailers, and we provide internships, apprenticeships, jobs, and grad support. So let's go into detail into each one of these things. Our 2-year college credit curriculum is 4 semesters, so 2 years worth of high school. We generally have juniors and seniors. It is an elective course in some schools. It's part of the Career Technical Education Program, and in California and Colorado now it has college credits. It's part of a core and STEM integration. I'll go into that in a little while. So what's super important is that we have a dedicated classroom on the high school campus. The reason we ask for a dedicated classroom is that the students in the class obviously enjoy the class, but so does the entire community, and kids drop in from all over the high school, and it becomes part of the high school integration. Kids bring their bikes in, teachers bring their bikes in, and it becomes part of the high school community. This is an example of one of our classrooms. This is a smaller classroom. This particular classroom has 8 stations. Each station usually provides 2 students with workbench and bike. This is a little bit of a bigger classroom in Watsonville, California. And again, we have different ways of setting up classrooms. This is Linden Institute in Vermont. It's split up with an actual classroom and then the workshop. This is a 10-year-old classroom, and this one has been going out in Santa Cruz High School for 12 years now. And as all bike shops do, it gets eclectic and has been supported by the community. And we're super proud of what Santa Cruz High School has done. Again, a new high school. This is what it looks like before it starts. And this is what we provide the school with. It basically, any size from about a 20 by 40 and up is enough room to have a classroom for Project Bike Tech. We offer design features for the school. So once the school has decided what room they're going to put the classroom in, we help them design how the classroom is going to be outfitted and what they need to have in that classroom. The school is in charge of basic classroom things like a projector, a TV, classroom computers, chairs. We do not provide those things. We provide just the Project Bike Tech needs. Of course, the heartbeat of the class is the teacher, and people always ask me, well, where do you get the teachers? Well, it's pretty amazing. This is Lorenzo. He's out in California. This particular classroom has been running for 12 years. This classroom pushes through 5 classes, so approximately 150 students, 130 students a week. He works really hard, but he comes from the bicycle industry. He was a bicycle mechanic, and he got his teaching certificate through CTE and was able to become a teacher. Teachers come from all different types: math teachers, science teachers, bike team coaches, metal shop teachers, English teachers, all cycling enthusiasts, have some cycling background, are interested, you know, in the bicycle as a whole, are avid bicyclists. We obviously make sure that they're trained, and they go to Barnett's Bicycle Institute if it's needed. Generally, the teacher is the driving force. They usually are the ones that are contacting us along with the bicycle retailer about bringing a program in. So Barnett's Bicycle Institute works closely with us. We also work with them to have the teachers retrained every year so that they are up with all the newest technologies that are out there. Our proprietary curriculum has been developed over the 12 years. It's very, very different from what, let's say, BBI teaches, because we're teaching 17 and 18-year-old students. It has to be very comprehensive and very basic from the start. And in the first year, they're level 1. Students learn pretty much everything they need to learn to work on a bike. Then we have a level 2, which is the next year, which is more of a hands-on. Half the year they spend in the retail store, and they're much more of a mechanic at the end of the 2 years. The important part that the industry gives us, obviously, is, you know, Park Tools. Calvin and Eric have done an amazing job with their curriculum, and we tie into their curriculum. The school book is actually from Park Tools. We also work with Shimano and the other vendors. Shimano allows our students to go through the Shimano S-Tech program and allows them to take part in that program, as does Giant, the retail program, and some other vendors have also allowed our students to take part in their programs. We supply over 40 tools per student bench, 100 specialty shared tools, and approximately 50 consumables. You know, you always need chains, lube, tubes, and we obviously have some wonderful partners there that are helping us to bring on all the products that we need. The important part that we have are new bicycles, and so Giant and Specialized and some of the other vendors provide the bicycles, and Project Bike Tech purchases those bicycles from the vendors. The way we choose the bikes that go into the classroom is super important for you. The sponsoring, and I'll go into the details of this, the sponsoring retailer's brand is what gets put into the classroom. So let's say you're sponsoring the classroom and you're a Giant dealer, then we go to Giant and purchase the bikes from Giant. We don't ask you to do that. And we work through Giant to have those Giant or Trek or Specialized bikes in the classroom. Here is a wonderful example of how we affect girls in our industry and girls coming up into the industry, and what happens, really hands-on, what happens in the classroom. The students are allowed to work on old bikes, and that's an important part of this. Tell me your name.
My name is Mari Friedman.
And you're working on this bike. This is a project bike. It's probably from the 1980s?
1990s.
1990s. And what are you going to do to it, Mari?
I'm just putting in a new spindle and cartridge in the bottom bracket. I took it apart and it was totally worn out, so I got a new one. I'm hoping this one will fit. It's a little short. The other one was really long, but I hope it'll still work out.
Perfect. Well, we can't wait to see the results. Thanks so much. You know, this is the only program of its kind in the country, and as I mentioned, we're in 7 states. The important part of this is that our certificate is industry supported, and that certificate, as you can see, has a lot of logos on the bottom, and obviously we make sure that the students learn in level 1 and level 2 what you as a retailer need. to have them come work for you. A level 1, and I'll go into that later, is a very basic mechanic, and a level 2 is going to be much more of an advanced employee for you. We, in addition to the mechanical part of this, we also teach them light speed. We teach them how to write resumes. We teach them how to be employees, how to share workspace, how to do inventory, and how to be a good retail employee, and what you need when they walk in the door. Our certification is obviously supported by the industry. Our level 2 certified students qualify to be level 1 certified in Pro BMA National Certificate Program. They also qualify to be level 1 for Barnett's Bicycle Institute. So if they choose to go on and become a mechanic, they've already got the beginning of their education. We're so proud of Park Tools. Without Eric and Park Tools, we couldn't do this. He's believed in the program since day one, and we want to thank him individually, but Park Tools has been an amazing support, as well as all these other vendors that have had a huge impact on Project Bike Tech, and it's staying sustained for the last 12 years. Our bike vendors presently are Giant and Specialized. We're looking to the other vendors to jump on board. So if your vendor is something other than Giant and Specialized, certainly give a shout out to that vendor and say, hey, I'm going to support a Project Bike Tech program in my high school, and I don't want other vendors' bikes in my program. I'd like to have the bikes that I have in my shop. So we'd love to add to that vendor support. We're also endorsed, importantly, by all the industry organizations, and they believe in what we're doing and have been incremental and beneficial to us growing over the years. And most importantly, we can't do this without the bike shops, and I'll explain why you're so important in this whole process. Obviously, we're creating employees for the whole industry, but without you, we can't even begin to have a Project Bike Tech program in Bike Tech in school. The other thing that's super important to understand is that we collaborate with bike industry nonprofits, other bike industry nonprofits such as Trips for Kids and the Cycle Effect in Colorado and NICA. We encourage the high schools to allow those programs to utilize the room when they're not using it. So things like internships, apprenticeships, jobs, and grad support are also a big part of what we provide to our students as they go through the program and then graduate out of it. Did you know that the outdoor industry provides 7.2 million jobs, and that we are 2.2% of the US gross domestic product? We're growing faster than the economy as a whole, and we provide $737 billion to the total US gross output. And that's what why experiential learning is so important. The wave of the future, what we're finding is that kids don't know how to work with their hands anymore. And the education system is understanding now that they really need to ramp up the experiential learning, so that there's a lot of support and money out there for programs to start in your high schools, which is super important for you to know, because if you do want to start a program, there's funding available from the government. So why don't we throw a wrench into a kid's high school experience? PBT exposes kids to rapid growth fields such as urban smart growth, cycling and the outdoor industry, sustainable economy, sharing economy, green cities, environmental planning, and transportation planning, just to name a few. And here's a success story. Adrian Nunes is one of our graduates, and I ran into him at Sea Otter. He didn't originally ride a bike at all, and after going through Project Bike Tech, he did segments of a couple of rides, and now he is a Snap-on driver, and he has a Snap-on truck of his very own. So very successful. I just ran into him out in California last week, and he has one of the biggest trucks in his fleet. So just a tremendous success story, and we're super proud of him. Yes, global macro trends, need for STEM education solutions equals incredible growth potential for Project Bike Tech. the bike business as a whole contributes a tremendous amount, $81 billion to the US economy, supporting 770,000 jobs, 2,000 supplier and retail members, and 10 billion in state and local taxes generally. Overall growth of biking community it has increased. This is 2013 numbers from People for Bikes. 31% of there's only 31% non-bicycle friendly communities. We're 62% of all in the United States and 105% of bicycle friendly communities. Bicycle commuting has increased exponentially, as you can see by all these statistics. And the other thing that you need to understand is that the government as a whole says that our occupation is one of the fastest growing occupations. We are growing by 29%, and we're actually on the top 20 occupations in the country. So as bicycle repairs, the United States Department of Labor acknowledges our need for bicycle technicians. So how does this work anyways? Well, PBT gets introduced. The primary introductions are generally right in the school, so Board of Education members, teachers, and principals. Secondary would be yourself, retailers, local businesses, parents, and students. So you as a retailer would introduce us to a Board of Education member, a teacher, or a principal to bring the program into the high school. The next step is identifying those key decision makers and having them work with us and creating a memorandum of understanding, and we sign a contract with that school to figure out if funding needs to happen, if they need a room, what parts, if they need a teacher. That's our job, and we start the process. So once you hand us that decision maker, we go from there and we create what we need to do with the teacher training, and we implement the classroom. The process can take 1 to 2 years. If we have a school that has funding in place, a teacher in place, and space, we can do it within 4 weeks. So it just depends. Generally, the education system doesn't move that quickly. The key factors are classroom space on campus, qualified, motivated teachers, funding, the initial setup, sponsoring retailer you, and ongoing support and funding. It's important to understand that this doesn't come for free. So the general startup to get a classroom in a school for the first year is generally about $35,000. Again, the industry steps up to the plate, allows us to purchase things at cost, and allows us to put together this classroom at a much lesser cost than if the school went directly to you or to the industry as a whole. The industry probably provides 50% of the cost. So the school only has to come up with about $35,000. That's a general, a classroom with 10 benches, approximately 40 students for the first year. Then there's a maintenance cost. If the school decides to purchase new bikes, there's consumables, always need to be replaced every year. Teachers need teacher training. There's a course fee. There's a fee for being part of Project Bike Tech as a student. That includes a helmet and a book. And then there's a license fee, so that the school is actually a certified Project Bike Tech licensed program, and they're teaching exactly what we're asking them to teach, so that when you get those students, you know what they're going to get. So this is what it looks like when we put in a classroom.
Hi everyone, Mercedes here from Project Bike Tech. We're excited to have just finished building out the latest Bike Tech in School program right here in Summit County, Colorado. Summit County is a perfect place for Project Bike Tech. It has a thriving outdoor industry and is home to some of the greatest mountain bike trails in all of Colorado. We had an awesome day working alongside our students, teacher, and administrators. One of the best parts of the process is watching the students help build the classroom that they'll be learning all these great skills in. We all had a great time and all the students are excited to begin wrenching. Of course, we can't accomplish all this great stuff without the help of our amazing sponsors and partners, and want to say thank you. Stay tuned for more.
So the important part here is that we actually have the students take part in building up the classroom. And then the day-to-day class experiences, generally the PBT curriculum includes digital content, park tool, textbook, and other industry resources. We encourage the school to allow field trips. We encourage guest speakers to come in, test rides, project bikes, and that the school allows the students to work on faculty and student bikes and have internships at shops in the area. Maintaining the classroom, you know, there's a lot of things: local fundraising events, replacing consumables, teacher training, new bikes every 2 years, tool replacement, program and student fees yearly, and we ask the school to renew the MOU every 2 years so that they are a certified Project Bike Tech program. As you can see, a 12-year-old classroom gets pretty eclectic, but it definitely has a lot of character, and we encourage the teachers to make their room be what it is. And a very important part is no one misses class. We have a 98% attendance rate. So why is this important to you as a retailer? Well, aside from the absolute obvious that we're creating employees for you, there's a lot. We need you. Retailers are a vital, vital part to the program's success. Why should you support PBT as a retailer? Not only does your support help inspire and influence new generations to be passionate about bikes, but you also get some pretty great benefits. What we deliver? Well, we deliver technicians at the ready, community outreach, classroom branding, lobbying, collateral in communities, and branding and social marketing. Each classroom gets the classroom retailer sponsor sign, and that particular vendor, that particular retailer has some additional responsibilities to keep the classroom going. You know, principals leave, teachers leave, and we need the community to embrace the classroom so that it keeps going over the years. So the retailer is super important for that particular aspect. And we want to give youth today an opportunity. This particular bike shop, I just visited the bicycle trip, and they have 3 graduates in their shop this year. So you know, it's so amazing to watch the kids come out of school and then do an internship in a shop and then end up in the shop. So the bicycle trip out in California, one of the students is a manager in one of the shops that they have, and then 2 of the students are mechanics. And then Aaron, who you saw in the video, has always had students come into his retail store and be there anywhere from 1 to 5 years. So what is the value of Project Bike Tech to you as a local retailer? It's a new source of well-trained service and sales employees. Well, that's just a win-win. The next thing you want to consider is it's a new, unique way of connecting to potential customers in a meaningful way, meaning parents, teachers, mountain bike teams, things like that, all the other parts that happen with a high school in a community. The most important part is it's a positive impact on your local community, a great way to contribute. It's an avenue to network with all the local bike and youth related nonprofits in your area. So let's say, like I said, you have Trips for Kids, or you have a NICA team, or you have Free Bikes for Kids. All those nonprofits sometimes need a classroom to fix up bikes in. And so once a classroom is in a high school, we encourage the school and the local retailer to work with the other nonprofits and utilize that classroom to benefit them. And last but not least, there's lots of PR and marketing opportunities with sponsoring a classroom. So how much does it cost? Not a lot. We don't expect you to spend a lot on this. We mainly need your awesome, stupendous, incredible, extraordinary, generous, amazing retailer sponsorships. So what do? You bring a high school to our program. You bring us a high school. You shepherd the room, meaning you just oversee it. You stay in touch with the teacher. You supply old bikes and old parts. This is super important. I'm sure you don't have enough of those. We need old bikes and old parts. They need to work on old bikes. They need projects, and you need to get rid of those old bikes and old parts. That you do possibly a fundraising event to maintain the room. You know, the 7,000, the 1,000 to 7,000 maintenance fees have to come from somewhere. That you sponsor an apprentice in your classroom. That you go to the classroom, or you have your mechanics go to the classroom and talk to the classroom, and that you help raise awareness in the community. So that's a retail sponsor. Again, it's an investment of about $100 to become a Project Bike Tech retail sponsor. If you just want to become a member, it's $35. You support and believe in the cause. You don't have a school in your area to sponsor. You may just support a program in the area. You get our newsletter and general support of Project Bike Tech. It's so vital that kids learn hands-on, and that's what our program is. It's a new way to learn math. It's a new way to think possibly they might want to go into engineering. They might want to be a bike shop owner. They might want to be a bicycle mechanic. Give them the opportunity to even have that idea. And this is how you do it. You go to our website, www.projectbiketech.org, and you hit the donate button, and you go to the corporate sponsors section, and you become a retail partner or a retail sponsor. And it's the gift that keeps on giving, right? Once we put a room in, it can sustain so many young people learning about our industry. The rooms that have been going in California have put through approximately 3,000 students over the last 12 years. So how can you help? Give a kid a great school experience and the start of a career. Grand ideas. Introduce a program to the state. So the important thing is, if we're already in a state, it's really easy to get a program going in any high school. If we're not in a state yet, and if you're in a state that we're not in yet, we need to go to the state and say, hey, we'd like to bring this program in. Start a school district or start a school program. Any one of these is obviously the best way to get going with Project Bike Tech. And we have lots of different ways that vendors in your area, car dealerships or hospitals or things like that, can help to raise the money to have a program go into your backyard. To do community participation, sponsor a fundraising event, engage local sponsors, have employees volunteer, donate auction items. There's all different ways to get a classroom going and then to keep it going. Super important. Then there's different ways that we can help you with fundraising events. We have amazing marketing tools. This is a holiday one. This season. Give your bike shop some awesome mechanics, and we did a fundraising event with that. And we do local community events. Spread the word. In this particular case, we did a tent at the Triple Bypass ride in Colorado, where we were fixing bikes and allowing Project Bike Tech to spread the word and help people on their ride. And the most important part is to get your community to give now to have this amazing program. In closing, the ask: join us. Let's change the world. We can do amazing things. As you can see, we change lives and have an amazing effect on young students. And we can't think of anything better than to have you as retailers join our program, help bring PBT to our community. It's just amazing to watch these kids grow and see how they can come into our community. And we'd love nothing more than for you to have employees. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. I've got a cold coming on. So there you go. Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate it. And I guess if there's any questions at all, Rachel's going to let me know what questions there are.
I think you were so thorough, nobody could come up with anything to ask.
It was very thorough.
Thank you so much, Mercedes. This was really great.
Yes, well, we need more programs out there, so everybody jump on. Certainly give us a ring if you have any questions, or email me. I'm here, and we'd love to hear nothing more than you'd love a program in your backyard.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.